Hello everyone, I'm Joe Ackourey, and welcome to the Fly of the Week. For this episode, episode 30, I'll be tying a Sulphur Dun Emerger. So let's get started. Place your hook in the vise. Make sure it's pretty level. There's not much to go with because there's a curve to the shank, so go with the base. Make sure the base, where the point is, and the barb, make sure that that's parallel with the tabletop. And now begin to cover your entire hook with thread. You want to wrap to right where the critical bend is. I had that covered up there. Let me show you. Right where it starts to curve out or back into the point, sort of. Right there. Clip off your excess. And now, for the first material, we're going to attach the trailing shuck. And for the material that I use for the trailing shuck is an Antron, like a medium dun Antron that I have on my site. You'll find that. Great material. It's very thin. You know, put 10 or 12 pieces or fibers of this Antron. Tie that in on top of the shank of the hook. And then all this excess, just wrap up to the front without crowding the eye of the hook. And that'll help maintain a consistent body when we're ready to build the body. So there's no lumps or bumps. So now for the length, I usually go like a gap and a half for my shuck. There we go. Now, the next step is placing the tails on. And for the tails, I like to use ring neck pheasant tail fibers. Just select maybe 3 or 4 of those. Cut them off. Make sure the ends are relatively even, like so. And put them on top of the trailing shuck. And wrap them even with the beginning of the trailing shuck. And then you follow the same method that you use for the trailing shuck material. Wrap that all the way up so that, again, you maintain consistency throughout the entire fly when I go to build the body. Clip off your excess and return your thread. Now, I like to put, for the next part, I like to put a little bit of flash on and integrate a little bit of flash with this fly, this emerger. I use a gold wire, very fine gold wire. Tie that alongside the shank of the hook. And wrap that in nice. Now, for the abdomen. Again, we're going to use the ring neck pheasant fibers, ring neck pheasant tail fibers. You're only going to use like 3 or 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. It's a real thin body. And you attach the natural ends. See, there's a natural taper to these fibers, like pretty much everything. Any hackle or so, and you know, any material pretty much. So the cut ends are thicker than the natural ends. So I want to attach these natural ends, and they're very delicate. So just be very careful. I just lost one there. I'm going to recapture that with my thread, because I want to put attach the natural ends in, because I don't want to build too bulky of a body here. So start wrapping very thin in the back, and you'll see as the fibers get wrapped, we're getting closer to the end and they get thicker. So it helps build your taper a little bit. Naturally build your taper. It also helps to get some fibers that are long enough to finish off the fly. I'm running a little close here, so I'm going to stop right there. Hopefully I can get them all. Yep. Secure that. Clip off the excess. Okay, now for your wire, your gold wire, you're going to wrap, I'll probably get 7 or 8 wraps here. There's 3, evenly spaced, guys. It's 5, 6, 7, yeah. 8. There we go. Secure that. Okay. Fold it back so it interlocks. When I cut my wire, I always use the back of the scissors because you don't want to hurt the tips. Okay. So far we have our trailing shuck. I'll pull that out of the vise, you could see it. Trailing shuck, our tails, our body made from ring neck pheasant tail fibers, and the gold rib. Now, for the legs or the hackle, we're going to select we have selected a light to medium dun hackle. Start by stripping off all the fuzz off the base of the hackle, exposing the stem. And now, like previous episodes, there's a natural curve to this feather. I've explained that to you, but here we go. There's a curve to this, natural curve to this feather. Curve up, down, left, right. Make sure it's always curving over the fly. And the reason being, when I go to wrap it, it'll wrap the correct orientation and not opposite. So attach that to the side. And again, ride the material up to about a 1/16 of an inch away from the eye. Clip off your excess. And I chose a hackle whose fiber length, when I fold this hackle over, will be about 1.5 gaps in length, the fiber length from the stem out. So that's pretty much the general rule. You want 1.5 gaps fiber length. Now, we're going to start building the thorax, but we're going to put a wing on first. And the wing material I use is my Compara dun deer hair in a light to medium shade. It's easy hair to work with. It's got nice properties, hollow properties. It'll help float this thing a little bit right in the film. So I'm going to cut off about 1/2 gap's worth. Yep. And I want to comb out the fuzz in between. So I'm just going to poke my scissors into my finger very carefully and comb out all this fuzz here in between each fiber. That's important. You don't want the fly sinking immediately. You want it to be resting in the film. So now that we have our bunch of deer hair, we're going to place that in the hair stacker. The hair stacker, the ends of the natural ends of the deer hair go into the hair stacker. These ends I'm going to refer to as the cut ends because that's what I cut off the hide. So cut ends, natural ends. Place the natural ends inside the hair stacker and start stacking. Let's check it out. Nice. Now, if I grab it from this side, the wing, it'll be wrong because I want the wing facing back. So I'm going to reorient this hair stacker and draw out the stack bunch in the direction in which the wing will be facing. I got one or two long ones here I want to get rid of. Okay. Now, the length of the wing will be approximately equal to the imaginary line going, I'm going to draw an imaginary line going up from the critical bend and include the eye of the hook. So I want to leave a little gap from the wing, from the abdomen and hackle to the right between the eye and the hackle. Just like so, because I'm going to dub the thorax. So now that I have that position, I'm going to attach the wing with about 8 wraps. And now I'm going to take those wraps off. And the reason why I did that is because I want to put a crease in the wing. As you could clearly see, there's like a set in the wing. You want to put that little crease in there. What I did with those 8 or 9 wraps is I compressed the deer hair so that it'll be much stronger when I go to reattach it. Now watch how deep this first wrap of thread goes. It bites really deep in, and that's what I want. You know, I don't want these flies falling apart or the wing rolling on me. By creasing the deer hair, see, this deer hair is hollow, and you got to create a crease in there which will allow your thread to bite in deeper. So that's just that little technique that I'm sharing with you that I use quite often. Okay, now I'm going to clip off the excess. I'm going to pull my wing up just to make sure that there's room behind here, and that's exactly what I wanted. I want to see some space in between the abdomen and the wing. So now I'm going to secure the rest of this wing. Okay. I'm going to pull my wing up, and let me get that hackle fiber out of the way. Pull my wing up and get the thread behind the wing and up against the hackle. Now, I'm going to take some of my Sulphur Dun blend, and just a little amount. So, draw out the fibers. Let's start to dub a nice fine noodle on my thread. I hope you guys can see that, how effortless this blend dubs. And can easily dub down to a 28 if you need to get down low or tiny. Slide that in position. Let's get a couple wraps behind the wing. Just like so. Go a little bit heavier, not much. Pull it in the wing back, wrap some in the front. You get a little tiny bit more I need, guys. Just a little. Okay. That should do it. Yep. Form a little foundation of thread for your tie-off point after we wrap the hackle. So now I'm going to grab my hackle pliers, grab the hackle perpendicular to the stem, and I want to get 1 or 2 good wraps, probably 2 wraps behind the wing. 1, 2, and then 1, 2 in the front. Tie it off. Clip off your remainder of your hackle. Get rid of those ends that aren't cooperating. And now I'm going to tie my finishing knot. Now a little bit of head cement. So the fly's not done yet. Just hang in there. What I'm going to do is clip off the top of these hackle fibers. On behind as well. Okay, then I'm going to flip the fly over and get rid of the ones on the bottom. Couple more. Now, you can see how that exposes the yellow body a little bit better. And I'm going to, pretty much what this this pattern imitates is the adult escaping the nymphal shuck, or the nymphal exoskeleton. So it's kind of like sliding out here, the Sulphur Dun out of its nymphal case. But I also want you to curl the wing a little bit, like the wing is unfurling, so to speak. And it also captures a little air pocket under here too. Something to think about. But guys, that's it. Works really well, and that's my Sulphur Dun Emerger pattern. Just want to say thank you for joining me in this episode, and looking forward to seeing you in the next. Tight lines, guys.